The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
Don't be so depressed when you say that. You are CJ. That's right. And let's do the COVID, Admiral CJ.
I'm kind of depressed because the mayor didn't send out a report of COVID numbers yesterday. I had to go research them. He made me work.
What's new? What's new?
Okay, the Massachusetts COVID numbers as of yesterday, 658,441. Total new cases, 538. Total deaths is 17,442. New deaths is 9. Bristol County has 66,348. Now the Fall River numbers, which were not provided by the mayor because his office did not provide them to anyone in the city. The Herald News had to go looking for them from Mass DPH, and that showed an increase from last week of 92 new cases, which would bring us up to 14,122 cases. There was no report on any new deaths at all. If there have been no new deaths, it would be at 372. Go figure.
Oh, yeah, well, that's it. It's now, since it's no longer necessary, COVID's been pushed back behind all the other big media news, and of course, we can now move on to the Fall Riv news. And what are we gonna tackle first today, CJ? What's on?
We have a lot of things.
What's on our agenda?
I know we have a lot of things to tackle today. First off, we have a new city administrator that nobody in city government except for the administration knew about. But if you remember correctly, we broke that story a couple of weeks ago. And we were right. It is Tim McCoy from the Housing Authority. And according to the administration's office, they did not have to bring this matter before the city council because he's a temporary hire. I guess his contract is only good until
December 31st.
December 31st. Yes, I'm sorry. I got lost for a second. And his extended leave from the Housing Authority ends December 31st. Isn't it convenient that his temporary appointment expires at the expiration of the mayor's term in office? Should the mayor not be reelected, then Tim McCoy has a job waiting for him at the Housing Authority. The new mayor gets a new city administrator, and this mayor walks away with his tail between his legs, accomplishing nothing for the city of Fall River.
Well, CJ, again, we've got no respect for the law, the process, and for transparency for anything else by this mayor. He does everything. He does everything under the cover of darkness in the back room. We see nothing but recycled people. This is a new old hire, And I have sources that say that the mayor, Tim McCoy, have breakfast a lot. And there was another individual whose name escapes me right now.
Ken Fiola.
It's Ken Fiola. You're right. Ken Fiola have breakfast very often at whatever it is, the Java something or other that's across from the courthouse. It's been here for a while. I think it had a different name prior to. So, again, I guess that's where business is done, at the Java Hut or whatever, Jabba the Hut or Java Hut, or like Jabba the Hut. But this is the way things are done. Just like when you walk into a meeting that and try to just push your agenda without a regard for the law. And so while we're on the topic, I'm also hearing from reliable sources that he's also trying an end around by calling various people in power in these departments to try to influence the way they're going to, vote on what happens with the trust fund, even though that vote is merely just an exercise in futility, because the law clearly states that, he tells the treasurer, and the only question here is a legal question, not a negotiating question, that the law also stipulates that the treasurer shall maintain funds to deal with incurred bills and also other, I forgot that it's not in front of me, paraphrase, but other eventualities. So we've always done it, and we use the industry standard. So we've turned a legal matter, a matter of how, the law is vague, and I've asked for a clarification of that law as to, since it's employee money, and we've been doing it for 40 years this way, why wouldn't the amount that's kept in the trust for incurred and eventualities be what the industry standard is, which Blue Cross, Harvard Pilgrim, all prefer their clients to keep an escrow account of at least 3 months worth of premium rates, the actuarially projected premium rate. And that's what we've done for forever. But now our mayor is trying to pull an end around so he can give out 2 holidays and say, look what I did for you. And unfortunately, hopefully these people will bring it back to their membership that, yeah, you're going to get 2 free holidays now. But if something happens and we change plans or we get hammered with unexpected claims, that you can end up with a giant increase in your premium rates because we're going to be broke. It wouldn't be, and without that thing being conservatively solvent, that's a very real possibility. But, this again shows the attitude of this administration. They do everything the old way, the way they do it in the school department. They have little meetings behind closed doors. They figure out what they want to do, and then the hell with the law, the hell with process, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. So here we go. We've got a city administrator drawing a salary who's worked for the city before, and he gives the barota to the city council. I don't have to. I figured out a way to cut you out of the process, and so what they do is backroom agenda, and then they figure out a way they can get it through, regardless of whether it's the right way or the wrong way to do it.
Well, what's interesting is, Tim McCoy has no background in being a city administrator. He went to law school. He did not take the bar. Which, why would you go to law school and not take the bar? I don't know. It's not my place to judge. But his experience in city government, as well as municipal, as well as the housing authority, is as a purchasing agent, not as a city administrator, not as a facilities administrator, but as a purchasing agent. So why would you hire a purchasing agent to be your city administrator? Is the job that easy? Because if the job's that easy, what do you need it for? If the job is that easy, what do you need it for? That's my question to the mayor. If the job is that easy that you can hire a purchasing agent to do the job, why do you need that job? Explain this to me. And the first time he comes before the city council and he doesn't have a number, I would turn around if I was a council president and say, this meeting is in recess until this city administrator can provide the numbers required. End of story. This meeting's in recess. That's it. And business won't happen. But this city council president, I don't think has the bloatish to do it.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I was around when they got the first city administrator, Alan Sylvia. Alan Sylvia knew the numbers backwards, forwards, upside down, from top to bottom. And he also participated in collective bargaining. That's where the two of us first met, hammering each other over the table about finances and abilities to pay. And then we got Bob Connors, who could do collective bargaining and who could do the administrative part of the job, who had served on both sides. He was a employee negotiator for the New York police, and he was also management. So he understood. The city administrator was actually created to be a city manager and be pretty well versed in a lot of areas. But as government normally does, we morph it. They morphed it. And again, we need 42 people to screw in a light bulb. So now what happens? All of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, we get all the alphabet soup things. Now we got a CFO. So now we've specialized. We've got proctology. We've got immunology. We've got all these little things, but we have CFO, city admin. Now, look, let's face it. As you said, CJ, he doesn't have any qualifications to be a city administrator. Any. Because the city administrator, I've always proposed that once we got a city administrator, we shouldn't have a mayor. The mayor should be ceremonial, like in Worcester. We should go we should change our charter, which we should do anyway because it's a disaster. But we should change. If we're going to have a city administrator and all these other people that actually run the city, what does the mayor do? Why should he get $120,000? Why doesn't he be like the mayor of Worcester as a ceremonial mayor? And the thing is that we've got these people. They're always talking about competency, but they all got to get top pay. So he's going to get another paycheck to add to his other paycheck. And then there's another little issue in here. He's coming from the housing authority, and he got a leave of absence from the housing authority approved. I'd like to see the minutes of that meeting. I want to see if Mary Sahadi, who is now the chair, I believe.
Yes, she is.
Even though the mayor said she was going to remove herself from the housing authority. So all you ethics complaint writers, because I'm writing one on the mayor right now, but check the minutes. See if Mary Sahadi took part in a debate for that position. If she voted on his leave of absence, because that's a city position and she's a city official. Well, and he's going to be working hand in hand with. As a matter of fact, the city, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, and I don't care if people disagree, he's not qualified. So what is he going to be? He's going to be a city administrator who is actually Mary Sahadi's assistant. Right.
Now, in regards to the housing authority,
we're going to have a city administrator. Yeah. So we're gonna have a city administrator who is supposed to have a position with more authority than a CFO. Kathy Ann was the boss, and she was a mall manager. So now we got a purchasing agent. Well, maybe if he doesn't get reelected December 31st, the next mayor will elect a shift manager from Burger King.
That works. Well, in regards to the housing authority,
I mean, I don't know what's going on. We talk about moving the city forward, but we keep pushing the city backwards into patronage.
Right. As I was saying, in regards to the Housing Authority meeting, Mary Sahadi abstained from the vote, but she supported the leave. She abstained from the vote and she supported the leave. When you abstain from everything. You can't say, I support this. I think this is a good thing. You keep your mouth shut. You abstain. You were weighing your influence on that meeting, even though you had no right to. And, the Ethics Commission is useless, and we know it is. We know the Ethics Commission is useless.
Yeah.
But if you get enough complaints, they start looking at you saying, what's your major malfunction? So.
Yeah, well, as you said, it's useless. But you know what it is? This is like when we start taking the reason I think there's not a lot of transparency with this administration is we're finding out just how this is. This is like this is like out in the woods. Remember that movie with the banjo in the backwoods it's inbred Jed time. Everybody's related to everybody here. You got Mary Sahadi in a housing authority, Mary Sahadi in the city. You got one from they switch back and forth from the housing authority to the city at will because fundamentally they control everything. Now we get reports that they're having breakfast together, McCoy, Viola, and the mayor. Pretty obvious. And they're always trying to push their weight around behind the scenes. And that's unethical. And, the Ethics Commission may not rule, but it's actually when you attempt to exert your weight to influence something that's statutory, it may actually be malfeasance of a public official, which is a crime. And it rises to the level where it's not just an ethical violation, it's actually a violation. It's prohibited by law. Governments and government officials cannot use their influence to interfere, intimidate, or coerce people who have jobs to represent employees. It's the law. It's a prohibited practice, but they're doing it because they control everything. Everybody's a political hack or a relative, and everything gets done. Why did we know Tim McCoy was going to be the city administrator 6 months ago? Because we know how we get the information, and we know what was talked about. So, what was the great search to go look? Where was let's put it out. Let's see if we can get a city administrator that actually is a city administrator. No, it's like, let's just sit on it for a while and then we will do it without bringing it before the council because questions won't be asked if we don't bring it before the council, because if we brought it before the council, somebody may ask questions that we don't want to answer.
Well, that always happens in Fall River. Nobody wants to answer anything. You know that. I mean, it's no big secret. But what people feel like, what can they do? Everyone feels like there's nothing they can do. And when you look at the numbers of the most recent report I have, which is not very recent. Let me see. Where is it? Here we are. The most recent report I have on candidates who've pulled papers, there aren't that many. You have Paul Coogan and Jonathan Albernaz and Jordan James Sylvia have pulled papers for mayor. For city council, you have Ricky Teeth, Matthew Springer, Andrew Gouveia, Emmanuel Barros, Michelle Dion, Trot Lee, Paulo Amaro, Leo Pelletier, Bradford Kilby, and Gabriel Boomer Amaral. Now, accordingly, Jordan James Sylvia also pulled papers for city council. which I think was a mistake. But the charter does not allow you to run for 2 offices at the same time, and Jordan has promised a legal battle over that issue. Not that the charter has been any good to anyone. And then for school committee so far, we have Colin Dias, John Koleski, and Mark Nathaniel Mollicone. People just aren't rushing to run for office in Fall River. And, I mean, can you blame them? Can you really blame them? This place is a mess. This place is an absolute mess. So who would want to be part of this city?
It's frustrating, but
right.
It's frustrating. But hey, it is what it is. We have to get them out, but we have to have people run. And even if this is the problem. The problem is people say there's nothing we can do, and when you get that and allow that to become the majority opinion, nothing does get done. The old saying, the longest journey starts with a single step. So people have to just remember that, we have to step up to the plate and we have to hold our officials' feet to the fire. And if somebody's doing an abysmal job, well, you have to get rid of them. And Fall River's not going to move if we stay in this malaise of we're going back in time now. Jazo brought in his crew of new hacks, and now this guy's bringing back all the old hacks. And the old shakers and movers are still here and still doing it. So let's see what happens. But let me shift a little gear here. I think the public safety, they have a meeting scheduled.
Yes, they do.
I believe they're going to allow.
I have it right now. City Council Committee. City Council Committee on Public Safety, Monday, May 24th, 2021 at 6 p.m. at the Corky Row Club, Public Hall, 602 3rd Street. Citizens input will be allowed. Citizens input should be emailed to Pamela Liberté at outlook.com by Monday, May 24th at 3 p.m. to be read at the meeting. The minutes of the previous meeting will be read, and then a discussion re issues and concerns related to public safety throughout the city. This is a political stunt. Nothing more than a political stunt. The police chief doesn't answer to the city council. The police chief answers to the mayor. The city council really can't do a whole heck of a lot in addressing this except making the people feel good or making them feel as though something's being done. But this isn't something that I would think. I don't know what your opinion of it is, but that's my opinion.
Well, yeah, and obviously, you're entitled to that, and that's one perspective, I think. But the irony of this is that I think this meeting, the jury will be out on what this meeting accomplishes to me, depending on what the meeting really, in what direction the meeting goes. The reality is, look, we had that shooting and a horrible incident and as you said, that's the police chief's purview. There's an investigation ongoing. And I think really that look, there's nothing anybody can do, including the mayor. I mean, this is a police matter. And the police are going to investigate it, and hopefully they will do their, I know they're going to try to do their job, and they always do, and they're going to try to get the perpetrators. And that is the legal, that's what we have to do on that issue. But I'm not sure if this meeting, where it's going to go, because where I would like to see it go, and I have to be frank, we were talking about before this shooting, at the opening of Almax on the Go, I was sitting at a table having a coffee, and Michelle Dion came over, actually a cappuccino, if I want to be accurate. But I was sitting there, and Michelle Dion came over, and Chris Peckham came over. And Chris Peckham and I were talking about, youth and how to to try to keep the youth on a positive path. And I was talking about what I was talking about, those youth drop-in centers, and we talked about, PAL boxing programs took kids off the street. You had a judo program down at the Armory. We had things years ago that brought at-risk kids in and showed them a positive environment, and it turned a lot of these kids around because they had mentors there who were teaching them this, but they were also teaching them discipline, also giving them a different perspective, also showing them that there's another path to take. Because this situation, it's already happened. And we don't want to, we have to focus on how we're going to stop this right now but this is a Band-Aid, in my opinion. We have to sit down and hopefully, as I said, we were talking about this, and I will give credit where credit is due, before this happened. But rather than, we've got a ton of drug rehab programs, we got a ton of let everybody out of jail things going on. How about we go back to what we had 30 or 40 years ago, and let's try to resurrect the PAL and get kids boxing back. Let's try to do get some people to give them, basic jiu-jitsu, judo, computer skills. Why don't we buy a building and have a youth drop-in center, or a few of them, like we have senior drop-in centers, and have it staffed? I'm sure people will volunteer. I would volunteer to do it. I did it before. To give these kids an idea of what another world is outside street gangs and violence. And how many movies, as we said on the last show, has there been about programs like Violin, you name it, have turned kids into a positive direction and have been successful. So it's not just about trying to police our way out of shootings. It's trying to get our community to invest in their children when they leave school, to give them something to teach them that there is another path to take, and give them examples. Have people who are relatively successful teach them self-discipline, self-reliance, in all these different aspects. You can teach it. You can have people that are computer literate teaching these kids how to do programming on although most of these kids are pretty proficient at it, but some of them aren't. Some of them don't have computers. But I hope that this is one of the main topics that the city council discusses, because it really, really is critical.
Well, and it's not like we don't have the funding for it. That's what the Shannon grants are for. So where's the Shannon grant money going? We spoke about this at the last show. Do you know that I had elected officials ask me for the proof that those Shannon grant numbers were correct? Not that they were calling me a liar, but they wanted to have those numbers. And I don't blame them. They should have those numbers. Why aren't they being provided those numbers? What is the problem with providing where the money is going? Why? Is the Shannon grant money being used appropriately? Show me the facts. I don't want this report, which doesn't show me anything. It shows me some numbers, but it doesn't give me the facts on where the money is being spent. Where are these programs that they have? Where are these outreach programs that they're running? Where are these programs like you talked about, like judo, karate, boxing, any of those things? Where are those programs? Are we funding those programs? What's happening? I don't know. But if we don't take the bull by the horns, we're never going to change the outcome. And when you see that we're worse than Brockton, that speaks volumes. So I can't tell you any worse. Well, we're out of time, and that's that. That's the end of that story. I want to thank you for watching and inviting us into your home. Have a great day, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, hold your politicians accountable, and have a great day. Wear a mask.
1 second.